ng controller, and first button click. So when you click on this button, okay, so read the data, employees data and managers data from JSON files. Okay, JSON files nothing but dummy databases. So this output, okay, this JSON data, okay, is nothing but like services output. Okay, so for example, use service. If you run this service, the service output will be in JSON format, right? Okay, this output is also in JSON format. So like this we can create JSON files and key all service. So when you click on button, read the managers data and employees data by using queue all service. So we have to create the module for the application, angular.module, angular.module, and scope.displayEMP. Okay, display EMP is the function. So when you click on this button, okay, so this function is executed in controller, and after that in this function display EMP function, where first is one variable and second is one variable. Okay, so these are two variables, first and second. So for first variable, using http dot get, okay, http dot get http dot get data, okay, data folder. In our project folder, data is the folder. In the data folder we have employee.json and managers.json. So data slash employee.json. Okay, so this is one variable, and comma second variable http.get. Okay, we can create variables like this also. Okay, and or we can create variables like where second. So now http.get. Okay, so by using this http.get, we are reading the data, employees data and managers data, into these two variables. Okay, these two variables contains employees information and managers information. So now queue service is here. Okay, before you use the services in controller, okay, we have to inject these services in controller. Okay, HTTP service and queue service. So without inject these services in controller, so we cannot use these services in controller. Okay, so master should we have to inject these services, and $q dot all. Okay, $q dot all, this all function execute, okay, these services, okay, whatever you specified in this area. Okay, execute all the services, and after that dot then, if successfully read the data from the all services, okay, it will goes to, this will goes to for each function. Okay, for each, if is there any error, it will goes to error function. Then function result. Okay, result is the our result, and where temp equal to object, okay, empty object template, and angular dot, actually the reason to create this object, okay, we have executed, okay, multiple services. Okay, So from multiple services, we have to divide the data. Okay, all so total is one variable. Okay, total result is in result variable. So that we have to separate the data. So temp variable, okay, temp object, and Angular dot for each method. So
Yeah,
this,
like we can add one more variable also.
one more variable also we can add for each method. So for each method, like in Java, C sharp. Okay, for each method, in Java you have to write like for each. Okay, for each, um, where list in my list. Okay, so like this we can write for each method. So this is also same. So result variable, this contains total result and function response, and temp dot push. Okay, so this is the object. To this object we are pushing our result to this object. Okay, response dot data. Okay, so we have this result. Okay, adding, okay, pushing result into this variable. Okay, object variable, and return this temp to the function. Okay, temp to the function, and then scope dot my emp info equal to result of 0 dot employees list dot emps. Okay, so result contains two services information, right? Result object contains two services information. Zero index contains employees information, and index 1 contains managers information.
As we are giving two variables, there is no need to give the rest response
uh,
result.
Rest response, no, no, no need that.
Okay.
This result contains two services information. So in zero index contains employees information, one contains managers information. So here managers list dot manager. Okay, so this is row to element, and this is child element. So managers list dot manager, and employees also same. Employees list dot emps, and scope dot emp info. So this is our scope variable. Okay, we are assigning employees information to this variable, scope variable. Okay, so using this scope variable here, okay, emp info. So from this enp info, we are manipulating this data. Okay, first name, last name, and username. So first name, last name, and username, and the manager's info also same. Okay, first name, last name, and username. So if you run this example, okay, so employees data and managers data. When you click on this button, okay, so data is displayed from the JSON files. Okay, so we are manipulating the data using this scope objects. Okay, scope variables. So this is another queue service example. Okay, and in last class I have explained queue service, another type of code, and HTTP service. Okay, so this is also one type of queue service code. So to execute multiple services, use this queue.all.
Actually, if we give multiple services, there is no need to give the rest response service, right?
No need to rest response.
Only if we give a single variable, we can give REST response.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay, and next one is custom directives. So custom directives also very important concept in AngularJS. Okay, most of the uh, real-time applications compulsory they are using custom directives. Okay, for every, for example, if you want to create one text box also. Okay, so you can use custom directives to create the text box also. So by using these directives, okay, custom directives, uh, uh, the code security, and we can use you can use anywhere in our application. So custom directives are used in AngularJS to extend the functionality of HTML. Okay, you can create custom directives like new element or new directive. Okay, or using new class name also you can create. So that is called element directives and attribute directives and CSS directives and comment directives. Okay, custom directives are four types: element directives, attribute directives, CSS directives, and comment directives. So you can create custom directives in four ways. So custom directives are used to extend HTML functionality of HTML. Custom directives are defined using directive function. Okay, app.directive function. Okay, to create the controllers using app.controller. Okay, for creating the custom directives, use app.directive, and this is directive name and function. And this directives return the template. Okay, return the template to the our custom directives. Okay, so by using element directives, we can create a new element. Okay, so directives activates when a matching element is encountered. So actually, if you use like this, you want to implement the custom directives uh, like your own element. Okay, your own element like my example element. So this is our new element. Okay, you want to create this element. So directly you can use element directive and this my example ELA. Okay, so this my example ELA. Okay, matching element is encountered. Okay, this employee my EXELE name must should match to this name. Okay, so here restrictions is there to create the custom directives. Okay, A is A attribute, E element, and C class. So these are the three restrictions to create the custom directives. Okay, to create element directives, we have to use E. To create the attribute directives, use A, and to create the CSS directives, use C. Okay, for the restrictions. So an example for custom directives. Okay, see here. So I want to implement new element. Okay, custom directive. So this actually ng app also directives in AngularJS. Okay, these are all predefined directives. Okay, if you want to implement our own directives like custom directives. Okay, so actually this is our custom directive. My top, okay, my top directive is an element. Okay, we are creating new element. So there is no element like this in HTML. So to create this element, okay, so we have to create the AngularJS application name, okay, define the application name and create the application module. Okay, app equal to angular.module and my app, and here app.directive, app.directive and my top directive, okay, my top dir. So this name should match to this element name. Okay, my top dir. Okay, observe here, my top dir. For every word, okay, we have to separate with hyphen. Okay, to create the custom directives for every word, separate with hyphen. If you want to create another new element like my new element, okay, so like this we have to create the new element, okay, new custom directive. Okay, button should separate with a icon for every word. Okay, so separate with icon, and before creating directives, okay, before implementing directive, and observe here, my is small letters, and from second word onwards there is no icons, and from second word onwards first letter is caps, okay, T caps and D caps. Here my top dir total is in small letters. But to implement the directives, okay, this name should in first word small letters, and from second word onwards first letter caps, and the function, so this function return, okay, keyword we have to use. So this return keyword return the template to this element, okay, and restrict e. Okay, we are implementing element directives. Okay, here only matches element name. Okay, so if you use restrict e, so this name should match to this element name. Okay, so compulsory match to this element name, otherwise it will not work. Restrict e and template, and this is the template, and this template is written to this directive, and creating this button, okay, this button in this element. Okay, we are creating the button in this custom directive. Okay, button ng click equal to click function. Okay, so this is the name for the button. Okay, so this is the template. Okay, so to execute the functions when you click on this template button, okay, so we have to use here link functions. So link is the function. Okay, to execute the functions when you click on the buttons in directives. Okay, so when you click on the button in directive, okay, to execute the function, use link functions, link colon function. This is one function. Okay, when you click on the button, so these link functions are executed. Scope dot click function. This is the function name. Okay, click function. So when you click on this button, this function is executed. Okay, these are the link functions for this template. So when you click on this button, this alert box is displayed. Hello world. Okay, so run this example first. Okay, so first button is created. Okay, click element type restrict. Okay, click element type restrict. So this button is created in this directive. So go to inspect and div. Okay, so this is our custom directive. In this directive, the button is created. Okay, from directive. Okay, this return keyword return this template to the custom directive. Okay, using restrict. And you can see here my top directive is the element. In that element, template is created. Okay, so when you click on this button, okay, hello world is displayed in alert box. Okay, hello world. Okay, to run the events for this template button, use link functions. Okay, link function also very important concept in the directives. Okay, attribute directive. So by using attribute also we can create directives. Okay, in development we are creating new attribute. Okay, so my top dir1 is the new attribute. Okay, there is no attribute in HTML like this. Okay, my top directive. To create new directive. Okay, so this name also should match to this directive name. Okay, my top dir1. Okay, first word small letters and from second word onwards first letter caps. And the return keyword, this return keyword returns this template and restrict a. Okay, a means attribute directive and template. This template also creating one button. Okay, attribute type restrict. So when you click on this button, this function is executed. Okay, link functions. Scope that click function 1. Okay, alert hello world. This is attribute type. The attribute type is display. Okay, button second button. Okay, my top dir1 button click event. So when you click on this second button, hello world, this is attribute type. So by using attribute also, we created the custom directive. And next, class directive. So div class equal to my top dir class. Okay, actually this is class name. Okay, so assume that this is actually CSS class name. So by using this CSS class name also, we can create custom directive. So this class name should match to this directive name. My top dir class. My top dir class. Okay. So master should separate each and every word with hyphen. Okay, for every class attribute, class attribute, custom directives. Okay, element directives and attribute directives and class directives. And here restriction is C. Okay, C means class directive. So template. One button is created and here text box also creating. Okay, button and text box. Okay, ng model equal to my name. So first of all, you have to enter the text in this text box and click on this button. Okay, this button. So when you click on this button, it will display the text box value in another box. Okay, in another box. So this is scope. This scope is only for this template. Okay, only for this template. Okay, we can read the scope scope values or scope functions from this template by using this scope. And scope dot click function 2 equal to function and alert scope dot my name. Okay, scope dot my name is here ng model equal to my name. Okay, so in alert box displays the text whatever you enter in text box. Okay, so like AngularJS. So click on this button. Okay, AngularJS is displayed in alert box. Okay, so these are the custom directives by using element directive and class directive and attribute directives. And next one is compile and link. Okay, link already done and compile. Okay, so we will use the compile function to both manipulate the DOM before it's rendered and return a link function. Okay, so use this compile function to both manipulate the DOM before it's rendered and return a link function. Okay, so this is also the place to put any methods that need to be shared around with all of the instances of this directive. The compile function takes two parameters, the element and attribute parameters. Okay, the parameters is element and attribute. Compile function takes two parameters, that is element and attribute. Okay, so link function, we will use the link function to register all listeners on a specific DOM element. Okay, register all the listeners. All the listeners means um, events. Okay, button events from the templates. Okay, link function to register all the listeners on a specific DOM element. The link function takes three parameters, that is scope parameter, element parameter and attribute parameter. Okay, this function takes the parameters like uh, scope, okay, scope parameter, element parameter and attribute parameter. And the scope parameter is the normal scope object. Okay, compulsory, so we have to use this scope and and the parameter and the attribute parameters is optional. And these are the custom directives. And the emit and broadcast on. Okay, so broadcast to emit and on. Okay. So broadcast, so it dispatches the event name downwards to all child scopes. So it dispatches an event name downwards to all child scopes. Okay, and their children, and notify to the register to scope listeners. Okay, actually, suppose we have two controllers. You want to execute, okay, second controller um, events from the first controller. Okay, you want to execute second controller events from first controller. Okay, we can use broadcast so that it will dispatch the event names downwards. Downwards means first to first controller and second to second controller. So from first, okay, downwards. So first execute the first controller and second execute second controller. So it dispatch an event name. To dispatch an event name, okay, broadcast. So downwards to all child scopes. Downwards to all child scopes means um, okay, actually, so this is the controller. Okay, so actually this is first controller. In body section, ng app we have created, and ng controller first controller. Okay, ng first controller, and so this is second controller in the same first controller. Okay, see here. So this is our first controller. Okay, first controller, and in the first controller we have ng model message and handle click event. Okay, for broadcast, and in the same div we have another div, and this is second controller. Okay, we can create controllers, multiple controllers like this, and to pass the values from first controller to second controller. Okay, so use broadcast or emit. So broadcast means uh, dispatch the event name. Okay, so actually this is event name. Okay, dispatch the event name to the downwards. Okay, downwards, and it is child scope. Child scope means this is child controller. So this is parent controller and this is child controller. Okay, so dispatch the event name to this controller. Okay, okay, so dispatch the event name downwards to all child scopes. So when you click on the first controller text box, first controller button, okay, when you click on first controller button, it will handle the second controller event name. Okay, scope dot handle click equal to function. Okay, scope dot handle click equal to function. Okay, in the first controller, scope dot broadcast. So broadcast event name. So this is the event name in the child controller. Okay, So this broadcast execute the event in the second controller. Actually, that is child controller. Okay, second controller and scope dot on. Okay, on is listen the events from the of a given type. Okay, handle the events. It can catch the event dispatched by broadcast and emit. Okay, it can catch the event dispatched by broadcast and emit. Okay, catch the events. Actually, on on duty is catch the events uh, from the broadcast and emit. Okay, so when you click on the first controller button, okay, hand is click scope dot broadcast and broadcast assigned event name. This event name directly goes to second controller scope dot on. This on service, okay, on service catch the event, okay, dispatched by broadcast or emit. Event name, this event name and here this event name should same, and event dot aux scope dot message apps dot message and console dot log it called log scope dot message. This message is displayed. Okay, whatever you send to that controller, okay, that message is displayed. And second controller same. Okay, actually this is AngularJS class. Okay, so when you click on this broadcast button, it will display this text in second controller. Okay, actually we are passing data from first controller to second controller, that is child controller. Okay, message. Okay, this is text box, and after that click this and click. Okay, we are passing okay function to this message to this function. Okay, so this is the message. So actually this is parameter. So this event is executed and display the message. Go to inspect and you can go to console. AngularJS class. Okay, here also AngularJS class is displayed. So that is emit broadcast and emit. The emit is opposite to the broadcast. Okay, broadcast dispatches an event name downwards to all shell scopes. Emit dispatches an event name upwards through the scope hierarchy and notify the registered root scope dot scope listeners. Register root scope dot scope listeners. Actually, uh, parent scope elements. Okay, parent scope listeners. The event lifecycle start at the second second one, which emit was called. The event traverses upwards towards the root scope and calls. So actually, when you click on the button in second controller, so this event is dispatched to the first controller. Okay, so this is upwards hierarchy. The event is passing from bottom to top. In broadcast, from top to bottom, we are passing the event from the controller. Okay, so first controller, second controller, So when you click on second control button, okay, in ng click, add click and message. So this message is the text box message. Okay, ng model equal to ms. So we are passing this data. Okay, ng model is nothing but, okay, uh, save the values from the input controls, and passing this message to the handle click function. Okay, this emit, okay, dispatches an event upwards. Okay, this event name and this event name. So these are the emit and broadcast. And we have another important example is there, single page application. And single page application and interact with the database like SQL Server or MySQL. Okay, so we can use SQL Server to interact with the database by using AngularJS. Okay, so tomorrow I will explain that example. Okay, how we can interact with the database by using AngularJS.